Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Hyundai Verna Petrol Automatic, aka the CVT. This is priced at rupees 16.3 lakhs on road Mumbai. But before we start the vlog of this car, let me share some useful information with you guys. Did you know that one major aspect that increases the on-road cost of your new car is the insurance you buy from the dealer? I would highly recommend you get a quote for your new car from Acco Insurance on acco.com and save up to 50% because they don't charge any commission. It's completely online, very easy to purchase within a few minutes and involves zero paperwork. You can get the 3 years third party plus 1 year own damage insurance from Acco for the brand new Hyundai Verna, which I am reviewing today at a price as low as INR 17,784 plus GST. Moving on, as you can see, the design of this car looks really nice because it's got a facelift. I'll show you the engine bay right away. This is the engine, which is actually quite silent and ideal. You can't hear much of it. There's insulation right there, which means that there's not much noise on the inside. And I'm going to tell you 4 things I really like about this car and 4 things I think could have been better. First and foremost, I like the design of the car. It looks actually quite nice, and of course it's not changed from before. The front has changed, the lights have changed, the grille has become bigger, of course, and at the side you can see it gets black colored wheels. The overall silhouette of the car remains more or less the same. It gets a sloping roof line. So yes, Hyundai has done a great job in terms of design. Gets a thumbs up from me. And at the rear, again, the lights look nice. Now, they're not all LED units because the indicators are actually halogens, and you get this fake diffuser which is finished differently here, kind of black and plastic. Exhaust tailpipes are actually hidden below. Thankfully, no fake stuff happening here, but there is fake stuff happening here, as you can see with my fingers of truth. Meanwhile, the second thing I like about this car are the features. Okay, it's got something known as a smart trunk. If you come at the rear and stand, okay, the boot actually opens on its own. That's also a good thing. But then let's start with the things I don't like. Certain cost cutting stuff which has been done. Like you can see, the spare wheel is 185/65/15 and it's not an alloy. The boot could have been bigger. It's not the biggest in the segment. And also, space isn't great as such. Okay, space is average at the rear. The problem is it cannot compete with either the Ciaz or the City in terms of rear seat comfort because the space isn't as much as you would expect. That said, knee room and leg room is kind of adequate. However, under thigh support isn't great at all. In fact, headroom is an issue if you are as tall as me, which is 6 feet 2 inches in height. But there is a center armrest with twin cup holders, and there is this sunblind at the rear as well. So yeah, there are 2 adjustable headrests. No headrest for the center passenger. Well, the floor is almost flat. You don't need a headrest for the center passenger because the car isn't wide enough, so only 2 people can really sit in at the rear comfortably. The rear AC vents, of course. So as you can see, like I've told you, I like the design, I like the features. I don't like the lack of space and the cost cutting, lack of space at the rear and the cost cutting which has been done by Hyundai in certain areas. Like, of course, the plastics on this car are really very hard plastics, abundant. So those are the 2 things to like and not like about this particular Verna, this generation of the Verna. But then coming to the features, it has got plenty of features. My personal favorite, of course, is the driver rear view monitor, which gives you a feed of the rear, and of course the reverse parking camera also gets guidelines. That's also pretty awesome, which brings me to the third thing which I really like about this car are these screens. Okay, this is an 8-inch screen for the infotainment system. This looks very much like a BMW car. We don't like it much in the BMW, but definitely I love it in a Verna because it looks kind of cool. You can see this is anti-clockwise, the tachometer, plenty of information on offer. You can browse through this to get a lot of stuff, and as far as features go, they're abundant because there's obviously ventilated seats on offer here. There's a wireless charging pad. There's a sunroof as well. Yeah, the sunroof isn't as big. And there's an auto dimming inside the rear view mirror as well. That is the third thing I like about this car, the features. And the fourth thing I like is the fact that although this is priced lesser than the Creta, it has certain features which are missing in the Creta. Like, of course, a mirror on this side, on the driver's side, and the steering wheel, which is adjustable both for reach as well as... Okay, wait a second. Steering wheel is not adjustable for... Yeah, it is adjustable. Can you help me push this inside? Yeah, push. Harder, stronger. One second. I think nobody has ever adjusted the steering wheel. It has jammed. It did come out. So the steering wheel is adjustable both for reach as well as rake, which is not the case in the Creta. I will figure this thing out, how to push it inside. I need both. Catch this camera once. I will figure this out. Okay, it's not that difficult. See, here you go. Yeah. Now let me actually lubricate this by moving it around a bit. That's work.
This is how you're getting your muscles, right?
Yeah, no, I actually plank every day. Okay, there's a tire pressure monitor as well. So yeah, those are the 4 things I like. I honestly cannot tell you 4 things I dislike about this car. So yeah, that is a bit of a bummer. Maybe, the handling characteristics and of course the steering feel are the other 2 things. The seats are actually comfortable. Hi Nureen, what's up? How many selfies did you take while I was doing a walk around?
I just took 3 and this is my new phone, that's the reason.
3 million and 4.
3.
Yeah, what a liar. She's a selfie queen. You get automatic headlights as well. Interior feels nice. Only thing is the dashboard looks very similar to the older model. So not much has changed other than this part. And these hard plastic continue to irk me out. But then a lot of Hyundai cars have a lot of hard plastics, although they actually make it even by offering you a ton of features as well. But honestly, what you really care about is how does this drive, because I've done a detailed walk around of this car already. You can just click here to see it. Let's get driving. Alright, we are all set to go, which means turning off the air conditioning, getting it into drive mode, getting it into manual mode, handbrake down, traction control off, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, driver rear view monitor on, revving the motor, rev still only 1900 RPM, which is quite less, and off we go. This thing was for no wheel spin because the petrol manual actually does a lot of wheel spin. So what do we have here? It's a 1.5 litre petrol engine which has been downsized from the earlier 1.6 litre petrol engine. Why has it been downsized? Because it has been downsized for the sole reason of complying with BS6 emission norms, and then of course a 1.5 litre engine is better for tax purposes as well. Now the thing is, this engine also has a reduction in power and torque when compared to the 1.6 litre engine. I think the power output has come down by 8 PS. This one produces 115 PS of power. In fact, almost every Verna makes the same power because the diesel also makes 115 PS of power. But the torque output is 144 Newton meters, which again is a slight reduction. I think the older Verna 1.6 used to produce 151 Newton meters of torque. Not that it makes a big difference. Only thing is it's 1 second slower. Now the reason why it's 1 second slower is not only because of the engine. It is also slower because of the fact that it doesn't get a torque converter gearbox anymore. The earlier one used to use a 6-speed torque converter. This is a 7-step CVT gearbox, which Hyundai likes to call as IVT, Intelligent Variable Transmission, something of that sort. Performance is actually smooth and nice. The gearbox is also very smooth, very silent, and the engine of course is also very smooth and silent. What is not smooth and silent though is the insulation, because you can hear a lot of the road noise and the wind noise as well. Now because I'm driving it in manual mode, okay, there is no sport mode as such. There's only 2 modes. One is the drive mode, one is the manual mode. We are in 3rd gear right now. Let me just upshift the gearbox into 7-step. There you see everything becomes super duper calm. Okay, this is not a 7-step CVT, it's an 8-step CVT. You can see we are in 8th gear right now, and even if I whack open the throttle, it will not do a downshift. It still remains in 8-step, but unfortunately, you know what, it will still upshift. So yeah, it doesn't give you a downshift, it gives you an upshift. That's kind of weird. That's not complete manual control of things. So around 100 kilometers per hour, you know what, the engine is ticking in around 1700 RPM. So very calm in that sense. But you know what, if you want to make a quick overtake, you really need a downshift. When I just put it into normal drive mode. Here we are, there it pulls strongly. We are in, I think, 3rd probably. No, oh my god, look at this. It's pulling hard. It's made a downshift. As soon as I put it back into manual mode, it is back into the older gear, which was 7th last time, but now it's showing 4th. So there's some confusion happening with the way this gearbox is working. The gearbox is smooth, and thankfully it doesn't have the rubber band effect as much as I assumed it to have, because it shifts up pretty quickly, but it's kind of slow with the downshift. That's the reason why making a quick overtake needs to be planned. It could do with more power and torque without a doubt. I kind of like the smoothness and refinement of this engine, and the punch is also nice. Low end punch is good, mid range is good as well. Top end it kind of lacks. It doesn't have the get go in the top end. In fact, it will redline above 6000 RPM, but the typical CVT pattern is not there of, just reaching a certain RPM and then whining. That doesn't happen. So CVT gearboxes are actually improving, which is a good thing. That rubber band effect being well contained is also a good thing, but being 13 seconds to 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, rather taking 13 seconds to 0 to 100 kilometers per hour is a lot of time indeed. Yeah, it takes its own sweet time to build up pace, because the engine could do with a lot more ohms, specifically the gearbox, because the manual actually spins its wheels like crazy. Here traction control is turned off. Car doesn't give a because it doesn't spin its wheels, which is actually bad for the environment. You're laying down rubber, you're increasing the grip on the road. That doesn't make sense, but it does make sense if you think it from my perspective. Anyways, the steering wheel doesn't have much feel or feedback. It doesn't have the fluidity you would expect, and somehow, you know what, it feels vague. It feels very vague, and body roll is also there in plenty, although Hyundai with this new generation of the Verna had stiffened the chassis. The suspension is still super duper soft, which lends it a great ride quality. Ride quality is fantastic without a doubt, but the handling isn't inspiring at all. This isn't a car you would like to push around corners. It's a car you would like to take it easy with. It's a car which excels in the city because of its smoothness, easy to drive character, steering is light, the gearbox does quick shifts, it's silent, and of course this is a compact sedan, so it's easy to park, easy to drive, easy to maneuver. All that I will give it to this Hyundai Verna, but I want that punch, specifically speaking, because this car actually rivals the Honda City VTEC with its CVT gearbox. Also doesn't feel that inspiring either. Okay, horn could have done with a better bass as such. Taking a U-turn, no problem at all. Get into the gas. Yeah, it gets very vocal. 6,200 RPM is where it's upshifting. It gets very vocal past 3,500 RPM. So yeah, I guess it kind of wants to be sporty then. See, now at 700 RPM is where it's idling. You can't hear a thing. Is the engine on? Yes, it is. Revving it and off we go. Yeah, it could be a bit of a ping pong because of the soft suspension at higher speeds. I would say the high speed stability is actually good enough. However, it kind of feels a little bit ping pongish at high speeds because of the vertical movement caused by the soft suspension on offer. And get into the gas, quick overtakes, not its thing. Yeah, even if you make a downshift, no, it's not really going to help as much because that grunt is missing. And especially speaking, with the petrol manual, it just feels so much better. And you're paying 1.45 lakhs more for the CVT just for the convenience. The petrol manual definitely feels much better to drive. The CVT just brings in a lot more convenience. Okay, 6,300 RPM where it did a upshift. So you see, the engine likes to rev in the top end, but it doesn't make progress as such. The price of this car is 16.45 lakh rupees. Sorry, 16.45 lakh rupees is the price of the Verna Turbo. This is priced at 16.31 lakhs. So the price difference is 14,000 rupees. And take this advice from me, use those 14,000 rupees and buy the Verna Turbo, because firstly it gets a dual clutch transmission, way better. It gets a 1 liter turbocharged engine, a turbocharger, the silence before the storm because of turbo lag, way better, and it also looks better. It also gets front parking sensors and yeah, dual exhaust tips, rear disc as well. So yeah, that's a win-win situation. The Verna Turbo is the one to buy for an additional 14,000 rupees because it looks sporty, it feels a little sporty as well. Although the performance could have been even better, nothing actually compares to the manual yet, because you know what, even the DCT box doesn't let you launch as aggressively as you can do with your own feet. The brakes are actually strong enough, but the ABS could have been better calibrated because somehow it's a little bit too intervening. Yeah, it judders a bit too much. But who cares about it, because this isn't a car you're going to brake really hard with. What did you drop?
Your phone.
It's in your hand, I can see that. You dropped your new phone.
Oh shit.
Oh my god, you dropped your new phone?
Yeah.
She just dropped a new phone. Let's do a drop test.
आज ही खोला मैंने इसको. Just like a few hours back.
So you can see the car gets a bit movement oriented on bad roads at higher speeds, but you know, otherwise the ride quality is absolutely fantastic because of the soft suspension. It absorbs almost everything in its ride. It's a very comfortable car, but I think the pricing could have been slightly more aggressive considering the fact that it's not as fun to drive as say the City VTEC. But then there's the Verna Turbo, which I would highly recommend. The Verna CVT is for those who really don't give a jack shit about driving fun, but want something which is easy to drive, which is convenient, and which is efficient as well, because this is actually quite efficient. Although the Verna Turbo is again more efficient because it's a turbo and it has low displacement at 1000cc when compared to the 1500cc engine of this particular car. So as I see it, I think paying that additional 14,000 rupees is total paisa vasool for the Verna Turbo. The Verna CVT you can probably buy if you're not looking for the top end variant, because there are two variants on offer. The lower variant obviously comes a lot cheaper, making it slightly better value for money as well if you're not the kind who's looking for all the kinds of features. But the Verna is about the features, it's about the convenience, the ease, and also to a certain extent the feel good factor, which this car does offer in spades. That's it guys, this is a car which competes directly with the Honda City Petrol, and if I have to tell you which car to buy, I would say if you're buying a petrol, get the City. If you're buying the diesel, just get the Verna. And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, that's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye.